YouTube, we're back again today for more of our Origins Bonanza coverage. We're here live at the Lions Rampant Games booth, and we're about to learn about Mea Culpa from the board. What is Mea Culpa?
Mea Culpa is a medium to heavy Euro game that has a whole bunch of mechanisms in it, and there's a whole bunch of things happening at once. There's a lot of decisions to make in it. It is largely about getting you in your life along the scoring track to heaven. During the game, you do not move your player towards heaven. Unfortunately, like a regular person during your life, you're actually doing sins and going backwards and closer to hell. It has that adulty theme, kind of. Now, what happens is, or what it's based on, is there was a Dominican monk that traveled around Germany that was actually trying to raise money to build cathedrals, to build a cathedral. And what he was selling is these letters of indulgence that the Pope basically says, you can sin and I'll forgive you. So he was selling these to actually raise money to build this. So it's actually heavy into theme. And it all works that way, and it makes it, and thus, like a heavy theme thing, it's kind of complicated. There's a bunch of different things. At the end of the game, you want to collect sets of 4 different colored letters of indulgence. For every set of 4 you collect, you get to move up 8. So during the game, you slide closer to hell, but then at the very end, you've collected the sets of 4, and then at the very end, you get closer to heaven. The gameplay is mainly you want to get these things. And the way to get the letters of indulgence is one way you can go to the market, and there'll always be 7 random things in the market. I'm hoping I picked randomly 7. Oh, nice. Yes. And you put the goods in the right kind of color. So the first kind of thing, on your turn, one of your 4 actions could be, you only get 1 action, here's your choice of 4. You can buy something in the market, but you can only buy 1. So I can buy this, and the prices are right on there. So you can buy the bread for 2, you can buy the wine for 7. You can even buy this, which is a letter of indulgence, and you buy the letter of indulgence, you immediately trade it for a letter of indulgence, the gray cube, just so it's random in there. The second action you could have taken is you can sell. If I already have a bunch of these things and I want to sell them, you can sell them for the other price there, so for 11. So this is how you make money in the game. So you sell it for 11. When you're buying, you can always buy 2 for the price of 1. So if I had 2 available here, I can spend 2 coins and be a slightly sinning, buy 2 and be greedy. And for that, you take one of your sin stones and you put it in, I am being greedy. Oh. These are I'm kind of sinning along the way. Okay. Now, I'll get to all this later, it all connects. The other action you can take, this is more directly in the sin, you can go to one of the dens of pleasure. And they are kind of what they are. I don't know what goes on behind these curtains. But what you're doing is you have to pay the cost on the card, and the cost, and I'll explain in a bit when it makes sense, but you basically put scratches on these. These Zotch games always have really neat components.
Yeah, these are nice.
Good quality, neat components and neat mechanism. So this post basically, at the end of an entire round, you compare who has the highest amount of notches. So you don't want notches, but you get them for doing this.
That's a bedpost. Okay, it just clicks.
Yes. Now, the third thing you can do, and this is what I find like really interesting, but it throws a whole different kind of, how do I think about it, is there's a bidding aspect in it. What you can do is, on your 4th action could be, you donate. And you're gonna either have goods, you can donate goods, coins, anything. But you can only donate 1 at a time. And what you do is you'd go, I'm gonna bid, and this is kind of the confusion. I'm gonna bid 1 coin. You show everyone I'm gonna donate this 1 coin. And then you secretly put it either in the first side or the second side. Oh. and nobody knows which side you're bidding in, or you're donating to. So let's say I donated to, make it so simple, to the first one. During the game, when you're picking your role or picking these construction workers go on a cathedral. And then when two of them are on one cathedral, you build one section. Then you put them back. Then another two come on here, and then the second cathedral's built, or the second part of the cathedral. When you've got two sets of two cathedrals built, the game is over. Now, you get these as rewards for getting the cathedral built. And this is where a lot of a different kind of strategy is. If I want, the best one is this. I get three, there's going to be 3 blue indulgences, a red and a green. That's the most options. Whoever bid the most bread and wine gets that. Gets first choice of that, actually. So if I bid a total of 6 bread and wine, and you a total of 3, and nobody else bid any, I get the first one, you get the second one, I get the third, fourth, and this goes back and forth, unless I'm the only one to bid. Now, since I bid coins, and this is the first one done, I would want this one be the first one built, because the coins give me that big benefit.
Okay.
So during the game, your actions are you're trying to get goods so that you can actually donate them. You're trying to get money so you can donate them. Largely so that when you're trying to actually get the cathedral built, the cathedral that you wanted for your reward is the right one. So sometimes I'm trying to get this one built and you're trying to get that one built instead, and whenever one's built first, that happens. And so sometimes you bid for something that gets you very little. And finally, the extra layer on it, at the very beginning of your turn, of a turn, what you do is, this is first player, second player, third player, fourth player. First player is the Pope. And what you do is, you bid. You go behind the screen and you bid on here, and you go, I'm going to be really cheap, I'm just going to bid one little scratch.
I can shag the Pope once.
And whoever has the highest on here gets first choice. Whoever has the second highest here gets second choice of them. So you could also sweeten the pot by putting coins on it. So this is 2 plus 10, so I'm bidding 12. And only the person who bid the most loses the money. If you lost your bid, you still get to keep the money. So the roles are Pope. Basically what you get to do is initially, as soon as you're Pope, you get to move one of the Pope stones. You just move it 1, 1, or 1. And when all 3 Pope stones end up on 1, these guys go back, because they've sinned, you go back, purple would go back 1.
Okay.
However many you've got in here, you go backwards. So you're on to pick Pope to avoid, if you have a whole bunch there, you're trying to avoid that one being the one that gets completed.
So as long as there's not 3 popes on one, you get no repercussions?
Exactly.
Oh.
Nicely, yeah.
So it's an area control aspect there?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then the other thing is, as the Pope, if you take this action, because you're going to the lovely den of, you don't want people to know that. So you have the chance of going in there for free if nobody knows it was you. You go incognito. So what you do is you're going, okay, I'm going into one, and behind your screen you pick which room you're going into, and then everyone guesses. The person who actually gets to say the guess is the person closest to hell. They'll say, okay, I think you're going in 4. No, I'm going in 3. You didn't know it. I get in there for free and I get the benefit for free. That's one of the perks of being the Pope. Second, you could be the mayor, and the mayor, what the mayor does is, what's his benefit? He gets Builder right up? Yeah, I have to. Mayor. Mayor's benefit.
It's like a meeple down and 2 times something.
He has no. He does have the preliminary action. Right. He's the guy. This is the guy that helps build. So I'm going to build that one. You get to move one of those. So you're kind of controlling which one of these gets done first.
Okay.
The third, this particular dude, he has no preliminary action, but he gets free goods later on.
Very good, very good.
So he gets 1 free good every turn. So he's kind of nice if you're just trying to get goods. And the Petty Sinner. The Petty Sinner is this really nice one where you immediately have to pay in here. No, you have to pay some of your sin stones in here, but you get to do one of these right off the bat before anyone else does. So the nice one is you almost always take this because this is one of the only places to get the yellow letters of indulgence. And then every time you go there, it's free. You have to pay coins, but you don't have to pay the scratches. So this is an awesome game with a ton of mechanisms. It's really kind of neat, and it's kind of like thematically like life and sitting, and it's just a whole. You're doing a bunch of different, like you're shopping, you're interacting with people, but it's not just I buy wheat to make this, to make this, to make this. It's more like a clock has a bunch of gears. There's gears, there's elastic bands, there's levers, there's a whole bunch of different things. So everyone I played with actually quite likes it.
2 to 4 players, I'm assuming?
2 to 4 players.
All right. And it's out now, or is it coming out soon?
Don't know yet. We got to find out the actual interest. It's in Europe, and we have the English version for North America, and we're trying to find out if there's enough interest to actually publish it for North America.
Okay. That is Mea Culpa. Thank you very much, Gord, from Lion Rampant Games. That looks really, really cool. Lots of cool stuff going on in this one. It looks like it might be your cup of tea. Be sure to check this one out. And if you're enjoying this Origins coverage, be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.